Hello, I'm Reverend Kenny Callahan, the pastor of Metropolitan Community Church of Richmond. This coming Sunday, we will continue our sermon series considering words that we hear a lot around MCC Richmond. Our sacred text will be taken from Exodus, the first chapter, verses 15 to 21, and then Romans, the 12th chapter, verses 1 to 8. The words that we'll be considering are justice and equity. What if I were to tell you that what you do today, tomorrow, and next week could change the world? Would you believe me? Or would you begin thinking that I've lost my mind? Or perhaps you right now are smiling politely and secretly laughing to yourself. Well, let's change the question around a little. What if I told you that I believe that what you do today, tomorrow, and next week has the potential to change the world? Would you believe me, or would you just have some doubt going on in your mind, or chalk it up as the pastor just having wishful thinking? This Sunday, we'll consider and hear about two women who made a decision. They took a chance by acting on their belief system, what they thought was right, and in turn, the world was changed. It was simultaneously a small gesture and a fearless act. They chose to be disobedient because of their disobedience, God was able to rescue Israel from oppression. Their names were Shiphrah and Puah, two midwives, women who are hardly ever talked about in religious circles, if at all, which is quite a shame because they have a lot to teach us about justice and about equity. It was a courageous act of disobedience that they did that changed history forever. They refused to follow Pharaoh's order to kill all the Hebrew baby boys that they would deliver. And as it turned out, one of the boys that was spared happened to be Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egyptian captivity. He delivered God's law to the Israelites and brought them to the promised land. It all started by two women willing to say no to an act of injustice, and in fact brought justice not only for the baby boys, their mothers, and their families, but to the world. My hunch is it didn't even cross their mind that they were changing the world. They were doing what they believed was right by being faithful and by following the convictions of their heart, by taking a stand and listening to their conscience. The things that we do, our actions, our decisions, our choices, will in fact ripple out with consequences expected and unexpected, for good and for bad, for the health or damage of the world. The question isn't whether, but what. What will we do to make a difference in our world? Some of these actions may be big and bold and courageous. Others may be small, hardly even noticeable. And yet they all have the potential to ripple out, affecting countless lives, changing the reality of our world. With this in mind, what now will you say if I told you that justice and equity matter, and what you do today, tomorrow, and next week could change the world? My hope is that you will live your life to the fullest, knowing that your choices, your actions, your behavior, and your faith make a difference, and that God using you, God working through you, actively changes our world for the better. Thanks be to God.